Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our live webinar event here. Today, we are going to be sharing with you our Discovery Center. My name is Debbie Fallon, and I'm the Director of Admissions for our K-12 program. We also have with us today Janelle Cohote. She is our coordinator of our Discovery Center. And we have Mary Catherine Boucher, which is our elementary principal. So they'll both be joining us here today and sharing with you what our Discovery Center is and what it does and just all the support that it provides to our students and our faculty as well. If you have any questions during the session, please type them in the Q&A section and we will answer those as we go along. We'll try to hit all the questions we can. If not, we'll follow up afterwards with those. So we are going to kind of just get started with Janelle. She's going to share with us a little bit about her experience, her passion, what brought her here to Rancho and to our Discovery Center.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm glad to be here, being part of this. So I was a homeschool parent of 3 children, and I did that for 11 years. And when I was done homeschooling my children, when I felt like they were getting to be about middle school grade, I was ready to pass that baton of responsibility to someone else. And I looked to Rancho Christian to help me educate my children. So all 3 of my children have graduated from Rancho Christian and had a wonderful experience there. While I was homeschooling my children, my 2 sons in particular, realized they have dyslexia. So that caused me to go on this journey of learning how to help someone with dyslexia, how to help them learn to read, and then what else goes along with that. And so I began educating myself. I became an educational therapist and then eventually got my master's degree in special education. And it was my desire to not just be able to support my own students, my own children, but to be able to help others. So for the last 9 years, I worked in the Discovery Center supporting other families as they're going through something similar, whether they just have a student who's struggling a little bit or a diagnosed learning disability. It's my honor to walk alongside families and to just be part of them in their journey in educating their child.
Great, thank you. And Mary Catherine, I'll let you share a little bit about just being our elementary principal. You are new to Rancho this year, and just your experience with the Discovery Center and what that support means to you and your teachers.
Yeah, so I've been in education as a teacher administrator for past 10, 11 years, and it's been such a great transition coming to Rancho this year. I have a heart just for all children and truly believe that all children are gifted. They're just gifted in their own unique way. And I'm a big believer in the theory of multiple intelligences, which basically says that, everyone can learn and everyone just learns differently. And maybe their strength is being bodily kinesthetic. They're going to learn best by moving, or they're an auditory learner or a visual learner. And so I think that ties really well into Discovery Center. And it's been so exciting getting to work with Discovery Center this year because, they really focus on the whole child and how can they reach, the whole child and support our students at every level. So what's nice is not only do they support our students, but they also support our teachers. And so I can speak for our preschool teachers that we have here. Our Discovery Center supports them and gives them tips and tricks and things that they can try in their classrooms. All through elementary school, they're supporting and working one-on-one with teachers to support their students, and same in middle school and high school. So that's just such a wonderful benefit as an administrator, as a principal, that we have this knowledgeable group of people who are here to not only support the students, but also support the teachers. So it's a blessing.
Great, it is a blessing, and really it is a blessing that at Rancho we can say every child matters, and we do our very best, all staff and faculty, just to kind of make sure they know that they matter. Janelle, can you explain to us a little bit about what the Discovery Center, I mean, we're sharing that it supports our students and our teachers, but what's the philosophy of the Discovery Center?
Right. Okay. So yeah, we're a department that supports students. It's mostly academically, but So in general, like Mary Catherine was saying, we believe that there's different kinds of intelligences, and that our loving Father, God, he wants there to be variety in this world, and that's actually a good thing. Psalm 139, in that Psalm, David says, I was fearfully and wonderfully made. God, you knit me together in my mother's womb. And so we know that our loving God is involved in who we are and the differences in the way we process things. And yet something like, for example, dyslexia, it involves changes in the brain in utero, right? So dyslexia can cause a lot of struggles with learning to read. And then you say, okay, well, where does this loving God allow something so hard? Well, we see that the dyslexic kind of brain is really a benefit to our society. There's some people who are really good at reading or really good at math, and we need those kinds of brains, but also the different kinds of brains mean we have amazing artists, we have architects and brain surgeons, things, that variety that shows us that loving God that causes differences. And with support, helping that student learn to read, it's amazing to see them be able to excel. The other thing is that struggles are part of God's plan. It's really how he works best in us to cause us to grow, to develop character. And no one chooses to do something hard, but when you do and you get through it, you're proud of yourself. I mean, we've seen students who are, let's say they hate math, they think I can't do math, but going through something like Algebra 1 with someone supporting them along the way, there's just a sense of pride. I did it, I did my best, I really worked hard, I struggled through it. We see kids then want to go on and push themselves to do some higher level math because they realize they can do it, they can do hard things. That's a life skill. That's something amazing to be able to have perseverance, to say, I did hard things in the past, I can do hard things in the future.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that we help them build that confidence within themselves. So they want to try, they want to please, they want to excel. So yeah, it's a great support system. Tell me what types of students, you covered that a little bit, but tell me what types of students that you do serve at the elementary and secondary level.
Okay, yeah, I mean, we have fantastic classroom teachers. As a parent, I can definitely attest to that. The classroom teachers are able to support the students, high students and struggling students within the general classroom. There are some students whose needs fall below that or outside of that range. And so the Discovery Center comes along and can help those students. So sometimes it's just a struggle with a certain subject. Sometimes there's actually a learning disability that's diagnosed. We see a lot of students with ADHD that's impeding their learning. And so those kinds of students, sometimes the student just has anxiety. They're very intelligent and capable, but that anxiety can get in the way. So we definitely are proud that we serve a lot of different types of students, and we're able to help them see that they are intelligent and see what they're good at.
Working with a lot of prospective families, the question is always posed, can you help my student who is in the public school and has either a 504 plan or an IEP? So I'll let Mary Catherine, I'll let you kind of speak to that first, and then I'll let Janelle kind of add on whatever she feels needs to be added to that.
Yeah, so it's definitely part of the admissions process. So we'll ask, if your student has a 504 and IEP, and we do ask for a copy of it. And so during that whole admissions process, we review it, and we just want to make sure, again, decisions are made based on what's going to be best for that child. So we want to make sure that we're able to serve your students to the best of their ability with what we have here on campus and the services that we do have to offer. So as part of that, review process, we'll look through the IEP, make sure that this would be a good fit and a good home for your child, and that we would be able to serve them. It might look a little bit different than how, say, if you're coming from a public school, it might look different, but it's still a team, it's still a discussion, it's still team meetings where we're talking about what's going to be best and what supports we have available to help your child kind of throughout their learning process here.
Great.
Anything else, Janelle, I think, to add to that?
Yeah, I would just add again, I reiterate that it is a group decision, that in the admissions process, we will be very upfront with you about what we can offer your child, what support we feel like they need. And yeah, it's really about what's best for your student, definitely.
Yeah, and it is a true partnership with the parents as well. 'Cause
Absolutely.
we cannot do this alone.
Absolutely.
What type of support is offered at each school? So I know it may look a little bit different to the support they're receiving in elementary compared to what they're receiving at the secondary level. So tell us what that looks like.
Okay, yeah, so we do offer pull out services, so we can take a student out of the class and work with them individually. Most of what we do in the elementary level is one-on-one. When they're very little, it might be a half session, 25 minutes. Sometimes they go longer, 50 minutes. But so we do pull out, and then we also do push in, where we're in the classroom and we're supporting that one student, but making it look like we're supporting everyone, and just being a blessing for everyone. And then we also offer after school support. And then in the middle school and high school, we're able to offer some group classes. So one of the benefits of that is that we care very much about respecting the student and being discreet. Especially as they get older, they might not want to look different. And so they might have a math support elective. So they have math class, and then a different period they have math support. And it's just their fifth period class. And everyone's moving to their fifth period class. It's not anything obvious. So the students appreciate that, and it's worked into their day. So that's really nice too. So in the middle school and high school, we're offering a little bit more of that support, that's not just subject remediation, but also math support. And then also we call it a resource lab. So it's homework help. In that, there's also a lot of student accountability in the middle school and high school level. Parents are becoming ready to release their child. They see that adult coming in that child, and they want to be able to trust them and let them be more independent. And so then we can come alongside and help pull that student accountable. And then also we get to teach some executive function skills to those students.
That's great. And I know that you talked a little bit about being discreet, for the students. And I have seen the kids, especially elementary level, middle school, they're not running to classes so much anymore, but I've seen those elementary students actually run to the Discovery Center, and their friends that are not receiving support there want to go because it all looks fun. They're using games to learn, and
Right.
And they just have fun. So you guys do an awesome job.
Thank you. Yes, we do find that the students enjoy, and learning should be a joy. Yeah.
Great. Tell me, a lot of families will, feel that their student needs a little bit of help, from time to time, or, on a consistent basis. Some families may choose to use an outside tutoring center. So tell us what the difference is between our Discovery Center and a local tutoring center.
Yes. Okay. So in the elementary in particular, the learning support is individualized, and it's multisensory. It's very explicit. It's based on research. So we want to be as individualized for what that student needs as possible. If we get them for 50 minutes, we want to make the most impact on those 50 minutes for that student. So we get to do that one-on-one. So that is very individualized, and that is remarkable. The other thing is that because we're in the same building, our tutors know the students. They get to see them passing in the hallway and give hugs. They see them in the classroom. In middle school and high school, we get to go to their basketball games. We get to see them at lunch. It's wonderful to continue building that rapport with students, and to truly know that we know them, that they matter to us. The benefit of being in the same building is that we get to collaborate with the teachers. It's not uncommon to walk down the hall and say, here's what I'm noticing in the sessions with my one-on-one student. Are you seeing the same thing in the classroom? Or the teacher can say, I have this little problem, what do you think? Sometimes we might need to remind a teacher of what accommodations a student needs, or just get clarification on a big project coming up. And so by being down the hall, that's really a blessing. The other big thing is that a lot of our students, they're tired by the end of the day, whether they're 5 years old or 15. They've worked hard all day. And so to be able to pull them out of a less essential, maybe an elective class or something that's not as pressing for their time, that gives them that allows them that time to have that cognitive energy on the remediation instead of waiting until the end of the day. And For those students who are gifted in athletics or leadership or robotics, theater, it allows them to still get the academic support that they need without having to sacrifice the other things that they're gifted in.
Great. We do have a question that has come up. Mary Catherine, I'm going to let you kind of start how we do the assessment there, and just measure progress for students, because once they join the Discovery Center, it doesn't mean they're always there. We do like to graduate them out.
Right. So in the elementary school in particular, we do benchmark assessments 3 times a year. And so we'll use those assessments to just kind of analyze student growth and see, you know, where they are. We'll set little goals for them, things like that, just to help, you know, set a goal and see progression and see kind of where we need to do, you know, maybe some remediation, reteaching, things like that. And so that progress is done, like I said, 3 times a year, but then we're also just doing those kind of informal assessments. Discovery Center, I know, will look at classroom assessments that are given, say at the end of a unit or the end of a chapter or something like that. And we track all of that. So we make sure we know, you know, where the students are and what they're doing. In our kindergarten through 2nd, 3rd grade, we do give a DIBELS assessment, a reading assessment, just to track their reading and see kind of what levels they're on. And so, you know, we're constantly monitoring their progress and seeing what we can do to kind of support and tweak maybe what some of their assessments might be or what some of their supports might be, depending on. So I know this year it was so exciting. We had a student, you know, that came and needed some support at the beginning, but thrived and you know, just really flourished here. And so we were able to lessen some of his support because he did such a great job. And so that, you know, we gave him the tools he needed to be independent and successful within the classroom. So that's all part of the process too. Yeah, once you're in it, you're not in it forever, right? We want to make sure that we're helping the children, you know, gain independence and learn some of those skills and put things in their toolbox to help them learn. And, you know, if we see that they are being successful, then, you know, we can lessen some of their tutoring or whatever it is that they need. I know the other question that was asked was how often the student support team comes together to meet. Really, whenever parents want. We definitely meet at the beginning of the year, and I'll let Janelle talk about this also, but we definitely meet at the beginning of the year and multiple times throughout the year, but a parent is more than welcome to, or a teacher, to call a meeting at any time, you know, if we need to answer questions or just see each other or talk about accommodations. So really, we're always available to help and support families. Janelle, is there anything else you wanted to add about progress monitoring or how that's being measured? And or those support meetings?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's definitely our goal to not be needed anymore, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like the scaffolding or having to have a cast. As soon as that broken bone is healed enough that it can do without, that's the goal, is that it would be able to stand on its own. So with students, the educational model is I do, we do, and then you do. And so we're just constantly trying to see in that we do part, how much can I pull back as the educator, as a support? How much can I pull back and see you fly independently? And that might mean in every session I'm doing a division with a student, and I can do every step and show them every step, or I can pull back and let them tell me the next step. And then once I can see that, then I can pull back even more. So it's constantly happening. And then hearing feedback from parents, you know, sometimes parents are saying, wow, we're not fighting as much at home or at home for homework, or she's able to do a little bit more independent work. So when we hear those, we know that we're doing the right thing. And so we continue pulling back. And the other thing Mary Catherine alluded to is the SST is a team. So we are partnering with parents. So there's the teacher, there's the Discovery Center administration, and the parents. And so as a group, we're deciding what's best for that student. And so we're thrilled. When I have a couple students in middle school and high school who needed us in the beginning, and now they're in AP classes because, again, maybe a learning disability, very intelligent. Those two aren't mutually exclusive, but with enough support, they begin to gain confidence in like themselves, but also in their skills and their abilities. And then we get to pull back and see them really excel.
Yeah, that's great. You talk about the we, And your team is awesome and provides a lot of support, because I know you can't do it alone with all
That's
the
right.
things that we support. So tell us a little bit about your team and what their qualifications are.
Yeah, I have a great team. I love them. So every one of them has a minimum of a bachelor's degree, but they all there's a variety of differences. Some of them have a master's degree, others a teaching credential. They all have experience working with struggling students. There's just nothing else. I always tell my students when I have something else they can't do, well, you're teaching me, now I get to learn something new. And like that tool belt Mary Catherine referred to, the more you experience working with students who struggle, the more tools you have in your tool belt to help the next one. And so they're all really good as far as their experience, but then they all have a passion for students. And students can tell if you are asking them to do something hard, that I hate math, experience, but you love them and you want them to do the best that they can do because you care about them, they can tell that. When they see you at their basketball game, it means a lot. I have a lot of students who are promoting in 8th grade or as seniors this year, and there's just definitely this sense of like, I know that you love me, I know that you care about me. So we work hard to build that relationship, build that rapport with those students. When we see them, in the playground, be able to give them hugs and stuff like that too. So yeah, they are fantastic tutors who a variety of experience and a variety of training, but all excellent tutors.
Great. I know, Mary Catherine, you touched on just the support that the Discovery Center provides to your teachers and professional development. Is there anything else that you would add that you have just seen since you've been here this year that really you find beneficial for the growth of our teachers?
Yeah, I think just the overall relationship building that the Discovery Center kind of prides itself in and does, not only, with our teachers, with the students, with the parents also, I think is just so beneficial. It really is. And I know we kind of talked about this earlier, but I can't stress it enough that it really is just so nice that they're down the hall, and if a teacher has a question or something pops up in the middle of the day and they need some support, that they can run down there and get that support. And especially in terms of professional development, like Janelle was saying, some of these teachers in our Discovery Center are really trained and kind of specialized, say, in reading or, the best practices of teaching reading, and which is a specialized, really good trait to have. And so that support just for teachers is huge in, hey, I have a struggling reader. Here are some things I've tried. What are some other things that I can try, go into that little tool belt, that toolbox that you have, and help me with some ideas, which is just really beneficial to have, down the hall. So you're not having to spend hours Googling things and looking things up or, doing your own research. It's nice to just, again, have that relationship, have that team, and, it's all for the betterment of the children, which I think is so nice also, is that you're working with people and you have people that are there to support you who also believe that it's about the kids and we want to see them succeed and thrive. And so kind of a whatever it takes mentality to help them get there is nice to have.
Yeah, and I love that. And just being at Rancho, being in the admissions department, helping prospective families who, they struggle and they feel that their child isn't able to have a Christian education because they may not fit within that box. So being able to have the Discovery Center and just the support that it provides, as well as our administrators, wanting to make sure that every child does matter. It makes my job a lot easier because we can give that opportunity to a family who really wants their child to have a Christian education, but may need some additional support. And with that, I just want to share, there are additional costs with the Discovery Center. So it is in addition to the annual tuition, but we're here to work with you on that. We have a tailored tuition program that can help with tuition or your Discovery Center needs that your child may have, because we're just here to partner with you and make sure that together we support your child and so that they can be successful. Does anybody have any additional questions or comments before we wrap up?
Janelle, really quickly, do you want to touch on and just clarify a little about, you know, the times of it? So I know like in elementary school, sometimes it's during the day, but then sometimes you also work with kids after school.
That's true. And yeah, it definitely depends on the student and their needs. So the littler students, most of our sessions in elementary are 50 minutes long. The little ones might only be able to go 25 minutes. And so then we might break that in half for them. Some students need it daily. Some are getting it once or twice a week. In the middle school and high school, we change that so that it fits in with their schedule. So those classes that are 70 minutes long or 80 minutes long, so they might come in for that full session. But after school, they might still only do 50 minutes. Some students are there, that's always their third period, and others are just occasionally coming in. So it definitely varies. Yeah. I wanted to add that one of the benefits of my job, the perks, is that I get to partner with families and to just feel like someone is with you while you're going through this journey. You're like, you have people, you know, I've got a team. And it's wonderful to work with them, because when a student is struggling, it's not just we take care of it and everything's fixed and now you get to you know, at home, no problems. We know the reality is we have to all partner together, and compare it to like that relay race where you're passing the baton. And but to just have a team, have people that support your student. And it's those times when we're maybe holding the student accountable. The parent has had to maybe nag and remind in the past, and now we get to be that one. We get to say, well, I see the missing assignment, and the student says, I did it. And like, that's classic, right? I did it. Okay, well, you remember doing something with it. Well, let's find out. And sometimes I'm literally saying, may I check in your backpack? And then we look in the bottom, it's in there, it's all squashed, you know, in the bottom of the backpack. And just to be able to be another voice, saying the same thing mom has been saying for years, but another voice that is saying, we actually have to turn it in, and it's not done until it's turned in, right? Or when students struggle, they often have executive function deficits. And so they're not great at estimating how long something will take. That big project, they're thinking night before, I can do it. And then that causes family stress, right? So the more we can partner with the parents, the more we're saying the same thing you're saying. We're saying, hey, that big project, let's start it 3 weeks early. Let's just do this little chunk. And then together we're kind of passing that baton. And plenty of times the parent can folder, and now I know what I have to do tonight. We're going to work on this. And so just knowing that you have a team, you have people that are there walking with you in this journey for your child.
Well, I appreciate both of you, and just really your heart for Rancho, your heart for helping students learn. Everybody learns differently, and so it's just learning how to learn differently. And I appreciate just everything that you pour into our kids. And I want to thank all of our viewers for attending today. If you have any additional questions, you can reach us at ranchochristian.org. Thanks. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.